Hey everybody, welcome back. Delta Flight Gaming, here with some more God of War 1. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the last episode where I talked to, did a little bit of note talking about the, Greek mythology. Because today, I feel like I'm continuing on with that. I was going to talk about more of Hades, and then maybe move into Demeter. So, let's get started. Hades, as you know, I'm pretty sure we end up seeing in this game. I can't remember if he shows up. It's been that long. I don't remember who does and does not show up in the first game. So, Hades, his parents were Cronus and Rhea, and if you ever see him like in a statue or a painting or something to that effect, you'll usually see him either having a scepter or on or near a throne, and even the cornucopia was a symbol for Hades. He had actually an interesting nickname, or like a title, of Chthonian Zeus, kind of like Cthulhu, the CTH or CHTH, Cthulhu, but Chthonian Zeus, which literally just translates to Zeus of the Underworld, which, Zeus reigns up above and Hades rules down below. It kind of makes sense. He didn't really have any rituals pertain to him, or any sanctuaries or places of worship like that. There were caves that were dedicated to him, however. There's the cave at Eleusis, Eleusis, which back then was considered to be that people thought that was the entrance to the Underworld, which I think is kind of cool. That, back then they actually thought there was actual, if you go in that cave, you're going down there. Now when it came to the funerals back in, Greece back during that time, it broke down into three parts, which are kind of sort of similar to what we have today. The first part was they laid out the corpse. They basically dressed it, cleaned it, made it look presentable. The procession to the gravesite, which is what they do. That's what we do today as well. But the other thing too that they did was they would have feasts and banquets at the gravesite for a small amount of time, and it was kind of a way to it was done in a way to honor Hades, and basically kind of in a way, not so much like a bribe, but more of hey, we're bringing cake, we're bringing wine, we're bringing all this great food, so Hades will be satisfied. We're gonna celebrate that, yes, that person that may have died, but their passing won't be forgotten, and it might just help that soul to reach the Underworld and not get stuck somewhere. So I think that was kind of an interesting thing. I don't really think we do that, at least not in America. We don't do that. I don't know if any other places where they go back to the gravesite and have feasts and banquets or something to that effect, to kind of honor and remember the loved ones. Many of the other gods kind of didn't really want to be around him or be connected with him. Mostly just because of the fact that he's, associated with death. Am I missing something here? Why these minotaurs keep spawning? Oh well. So, Hades like, the way that some people might have depicted him in like some popular cultures and media, they, in a sense, they've Christianized him to make him seem like he's this like, sorry, this kind of like benevolent evil ruler, kind of like the Hades from the Hercules Disney cartoon, when really he was almost the exact opposite of it. Like, he really doesn't really care about, you know, the souls of the dead that are down there. He doesn't judge them if you did this, if you were, you know, Kratos here killing multiple hundreds of people. He really didn't care. Or if you just, you know, you just died. He really didn't care either which way. He doesn't carry any of the souls down. Really, he just kind of sits on his throne in the underworld and just kind of watches. And he makes sure that, you know, the souls don't wander too far away, that they don't get lost out in the middle of nowhere kind of thing. He just kind of so I need to turn this guy into stone. Come here, buddy. And like I said, with the he doesn't really, there's not really much. He wasn't really like a Grim Reaper. You know, he wasn't that kind of a god. There is the Greek version of the Grim Reaper, and that was Thanatos. And every time I kind of remember, like, think of that name, it always kind of reminds me of Thanos. It kind of helps me remind that way. Even though I'm pretty sure there was a Thanos in Greek mythology too, but he didn't have any of the, you know, Infinity Stones or anything like that. So, you know, bad joke aside, let's move on. Another thing that when it came to Hades, like, you know, that there weren't that many, like, you know, they didn't sacrifice to the god of the dead because that just wouldn't make much sense. You know, and it also kind of made to show that, like, even Hades, you know, who is a god, it's your time to die. It's your time to die. Like, he can't improve it. He can't, you know, if you're set to dying, or you're, you know, the day you turn 56, that's it. You can't, you know, he's not going to be like, oh, okay, well, if you do all these deeds for me, I'll let you live to 57. It's like, nope. If you're scheduled to die on the day you turn 56, you die at the day you turn 56. That's it. So, it's kind of been, you know, it's kind of an interesting concept like that, because he's kind of like, yeah, I'm the god of the underworld, but, like, I really don't do much. You know? In the, like I said, there's the Hesiod, or the Hesiodic version of the gods, and the Homeric version of the gods. Which, I mean, there's small differences between the two, but for the most part, they're fairly identical. At first, it was believed that the underworld was in the west. Like, it was just, you know, you look west and the underworld's that way. You know, mostly because of the fact that that's where the sun sets. So when the sun goes down, the sun is going into the underworld and will come back out. Then they believed it to be actually under the world. You know, that's why it's called the underworld. It goes under the world, and that's where your soul goes. So I mean, that was an interesting kind of how they went, well, it was that way, now it's this way. You know, it's over here. No, it's over here. Kind of deal. And that's where a lot of, like, the authors was actually, you know, when they called it the underworld, they actually, you know, when they were writing their plays and things of that nature, they actually were putting it under the world. That's, you know, how it's essentially got its name. And So there's also believed that Hades, like, because of the fact that he's underworld, he actually pushes things up. So like minerals and plants to grow, they're coming up from the underworld. So, and there was the way that the world that they had kind of shaped it was you have Olympus up on top, it's where all the gods live, and then in between the gods, or Mount Olympus and the earth, you have the sun and the moon. So they were, the gods were above the sun and the moon, and then you pretty much have this like middle section, kind of earth, and then underneath that was the underworld, and then underneath that was known as Tartarus, and below that is where chaos essentially lives. But pretty much after chaos was created, it was kind of, it was a sheep. It was a sheep, if I remember right. Pretty much after chaos, gave birth to the Titans and everything like that, chaos is pretty much like, I'm just gonna be over here, just sitting out the rest of this. You guys, if you need me, I'll be here, but otherwise, it's all good. When I grew up, I didn't know, I knew of the river Styx, and honestly, I thought that was the only one, but there are actually 5 of them. There's Styx, which means hated, or hatred, the river of hate. There's Lethe, Lethe, which is forgetfulness, so I guess, the more you be in that river, you kind of tend to forget. Acheron, Acheron, for the River of Sorrows. I have it written down here. Let me kind of make sure I'm read this right. Pyriphlegethon. I'm pretty sure I've mispronounced that, but that was the fiery, the River of Fire. And then last is Cocytus. Cocytus? Cocytus. I can't remember if it's a hard C or a soft C, but that is the River of Wailing, and I'm pretty sure that would kind of be annoying to be anywhere near that river. Just hearing people wailing for eternity. But as many know, the ferryman of the River Styx, Charon or Charon. I've heard both, but I'm assuming it's Charon, because that's how I was told it. He, as many know, that he takes the lost souls across the River Styx, and that is where the people who put the coins over the eyes, as kind of that's Charon's payment. And I've actually seen some pretty interesting like artist interpretation, I guess you could say, where like I've seen an actual like man in a boat. It's just some dude with an oar, and he just carries you across the river. But I've also seen where he is the boat, or like the front of the boat is actually made out of his body, kind of like a centaur, but instead of like the bottom half is a horse, it's the bottom half is a boat. So, it's kind of a cool, different rendition. But once you go across that river and you're in the underworld, you're not getting back out. At least Charon will not take you back out. So, plan your trip accordingly. And it is believed that if you were to eat anything or drink anything in the underworld, even if you're alive and you go down to the underworld, you have a little cake or you have a sip of water down in the underworld, guess what? You're stuck. So, enjoy it while it lasts, because You're not going to go anywhere else. I wouldn't necessarily not the Thanatos and the Grim Reaper, but the person who actually brings the dead down to the underworld is none other than the messenger god Hermes. And he's pretty much one of the main ones who, whenever it's seen as like who brings them down, it's pretty much usually seen as him. And as I said, Thanatos is the god, not god of death, but it's Thanatos, a representation of the Grim Reaper, death. But there's also Hypnos, which you kind of see Hypnos, not really much hypnotizing, but more along of sleep. They're minor gods in the whole scheme of it all, but they also have a bit of a process involved with it. So there's, it's not just like one guy does this whole operation. It's multiple people who do the whole thing. And as many know, who guards the gates of the underworld? None other than Cerberus. And what's really interesting, and this is something I didn't know for a long time until I had to read part of the Works and Days by Hesiod. Yeah. I can't even pronounce his name. I'm pronouncing it 5 different times. Cerberus prevents souls from leaving. So even if you get past Cerberus trying to leave the underworld, you can't get past the river Styx because Charon's like, I ain't taking you back. No, you're stuck. Sorry. But the thing that I found interesting that I didn't know too much about, let me grab that dude. Or don't. At one point in time when I was reading in, I believe it was Works and Days, it actually stated that Cerberus either had one head at one point, 2 heads at another point, and as much as 50 heads. Which, that to me was interesting because, like I said, I'd never known that. I've always known it as he's only got 3. He's only ever had 3. But then again, this was kind of in the ancient text, it was written more as, well, which is it? We don't really know. Because, Dave over here saw 1, this dude saw 2, I saw 3, some other one said it was a 50, so... But for the most part, he's had 3 heads. And apparently, a lot of people have been able to get past him. So he apparently wasn't as much of a good guardian as I thought it to be. Now, there is one thing that when it comes to the underworld, the one place you want to go, obviously it's not Limbo, but where you want to go is you want to go to the Elysian Plain, which is the land of perpetual spring. Which, for me, wouldn't be too bad, but I know that, it being spring and all, my allergies would be going absolutely insane, the entire time being down there, and I would probably think that would be more of, oh, this is a punishment, this isn't like, it's like, yeah, the weather's nice, but I can't breathe because of my allergies. Thanks, gods! There's actually a bit, like I said, under the underworld, and that was known as Tartarus. And the place you want to go to is the Elysian Plains, which overall I could get over the fact that, it's perpetual springtime, but there might be a bunch of allergies. But then again, I'm already dead, so I'm pretty sure allergies isn't really a thing to, fret or worry about. But Tartarus is pretty much the exact opposite. Kind of picture, what was that? What planet were they on in the last Avengers movie? The last one where they had the big final battle at the end of the movie, where it's pretty much just this empty plain, and it's just dead. you know, it just looks crappy out there. Like, that's pretty much what you'd expect of, like, Tartarus, just being under the underworld and there's just nothing there. The thing is it's most of the people who go down, you know, when their soul goes down there, they pretty much just wander in the dark. Because it's not like, you know, it's not like Olympus, there's no temple, there's no lights, it's just kind of there. You know? And it's just seen as like the souls, it's kind of, and according to Greek mythology, they look at it as more of like the soul looks exactly like the person. You know, it's not kind of like that, like as you see like a ghost might be, where it's just this like floating mist kind of thing. It's an actual, looks like a person, but it's their soul. And they even have their entire personality too. They keep it all.
Stay away!
Like they keep the same personality as they had when they were alive. It's just, you just can't touch them, no matter what.
I know who you are. I know what you've done. Monster.
Wait.
Stay back! Get away from me!
But even though you have the same personality when you're in the underworld,
Stay away! Don't come near me! Keep away!
your emotions I actually have two contradicting things here on my notes. Like one sentence says if you keep your personality, the next bit says you don't have personality or emotions. So you just kind of, I don't know, that's weird. But like I said, you just kind of wander aimlessly, and the whole point, well, Hades, like his whole deal is he kind of rules and just kind of sits on his throne and watches, and he's just like, you know, his kind of whole deal is, it's more of like, he looks out and he's like, hey, Dave is walking out too far. David, get back here. Oh, Erica, you're walking too far out. Get back here. Kind of. That's kind of basically how he, you know, his operations. And like the way that a lot of people with some religions, they have it so where, you know, when, if you led a good life, you're going to the Elysian plains or the Elysian fields. If you led a really bad life, you're going to go to Tartarus. But in all honesty, back then, it really didn't matter one way or the other. Everybody's going to end up somewhere. They just kind of really don't care where you go. You know, you're bound to go one of two ways, and they're just kind of like, yeah, you know what? You're going to the Elysian fields. You're going to Tartarus. I don't care if you did all this nice stuff. I just go. Just get out of the way. Just I don't care. So a lot of things that was kind of interesting with as like a punishment, being chained to something and having either part of your body either eaten like every day. That's actually occurred in more than one person. And I only thought, you know, but then again, this is before I was well more into the knowledge of Greek mythology. You know, like with Prometheus, which, by the way, Kratos, clearly not, you know, it's the same Kratos, but it's, you know, not the God of War Kratos, whatever. He actually shows up in Prometheus Bound, which, you know, talks about what Prometheus did and why he was bound up, but pretty much they actually converse with each other. But there was the giant Titus. And he tried to rape Leto, who's the mother of Apollo and Artemis. And so, as punishment, he was chained in Tartarus, chained to a heavy rock, and had 2 vultures eat his liver, which back then they assumed that's what they felt was like the source of all your passion and all your emotion, or his passion, sorry. They thought that was where he got all of his emotions and passions from, so they continuously had 2 vultures eat his liver, and then it would regrow, and they would eat it again, and it would regrow, and so on and so forth, and pretty much for eternity. Now, Tantalus is another individual. He steals nectar and ambrosia, which back then were considered like fine delicacies that only for a god. And he stole it from the gods while he was eating dinner up on Olympus. And similar to Prometheus, who, like Prometheus, takes fire and gives it to the humans, Tantalus gives nectar and ambrosia to the humans, kind of to be like, hey guys, look what cool stuff I've got. This is from the gods. But let me also tell you let me give you some secrets of the gods as well. And the other thing he also does, he steals Zeus's dog, which is kind of a bad thing to do. Like, you just know that if you're gonna steal something from Zeus, he's gonna probably find out and probably kill you, or at least make you suffer for a good long time. And here's where things get really twisted. Tantalus decides to invite some of the gods to his place, and he's gonna cook them dinner. A feast worthy of the gods. The thing is he feeds them human flesh. Who was this person that he feeds to the gods? His kid, Pelops. Kills his kid, chops him up into pieces, and Demeter, she actually eats a piece. So, yeah, he's already kind of like, wow. He's gonna kill his kid, serve it to the gods, because why not? So after they find out about this, they send him down to Tartarus, and they leave him in a small river, about waist deep, but the water is salt water, so he can't drink it. And hanging above his head, but just out of arm's reach, is a fruit-bearing tree. And there's fruit literally hanging right above his head. Okay, so his punishment, as I said, he can't reach the fruit above his head, and he can't drink the water in his by his waist. That he's partially submerged in. The other thing is they made it so he can't die. So he's essentially eternally, essentially basically saying, to this day, eternally hungry, eternally thirsty, and outside of reach of death. I mean, it's kind of, in an odd way, a fitting punishment. You kill your kid and try to make us eat human flesh, so we're going to do the opposite to you as a punishment. We're going to make it so you can't eat or drink, and you're going to be punished for eternity. Now, another unfortunate soul, I guess you could say, is that of Sisyphus. And this is the guy who actually was the founder of Corinth. You know, with all of its rich Corinthian leather. I don't know. I just know that from Archer. Corinth is famous for its leather. So, this guy is kind of a dick. You know, he tricks gods and humans alike. He kills travelers, which back then, if you were traveling, you know, if I was living in Rome and a traveler was traveling through Rome and I talked to them, it would be, you know, a better, according to society, was a better thing to, you know, greet your travelers, maybe give them a bed and, you know, room and board if they needed it, feed them if they needed it, give them water. Nope, Sisyphus is like, oh, you're traveling to Rome? Oh, okay, here. Stab, stab, stab. See ya. So, the other thing is, as the phrase goes, snitches get stitches. This dude snitches on Zeus. Again, not the wisest thing to do, because Zeus stole a daughter of a minor god, and her name was Aegina, Aegina, when he was in the form of, when Zeus took on the form of an eagle. So this guy, again, sent down to Tartarus and forced to push a boulder uphill. And when it gets, I've heard multiple stories where either the boulder gets too big, like the further it rolls up, it gets bigger and bigger, and it gets to the point where it's too big for him to roll. Size-wise, it rolls back down, and he has to go back down and push it back up. And I've also heard it gets too heavy for him to roll it up, so it falls back down. So basically, this dude is stuck, you know, for eternity with the definition of insanity, and the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Yeah, there've been some pretty interesting punishments for some of these guys. And then this one, this next damned soul, Ixion, which at first didn't realize that it was in Greek mythology. I always thought of it as one of the summons from Final Fantasy VII, or from the Final Fantasy series. It was just a summon. And honestly, I thought it was kind of maybe it been related more to Norse, even though Thor is Norse. Maybe somehow like Ixion was some sort of, I don't know, assistant, helper, something like that. I don't know. But Ixion was invited to have dinner with Zeus. And as we all know, Zeus will try and bone anyone, male or female, that's moving. But Ixion, it was like, damn, Hera's looking fine. I need some of that.
Ares has breached the city.
Zeus doesn't like that. So Zeus has Ixion chained to a wheel. What's the... kind of like those knife-throwing darts, those knife-throwing boards. He has him, stuck on one of those. And the wheel just never stops spinning. So, I mean, that, of the punishments, where Sisyphus, his is, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's that it's not fitting, but the most, seems like Tantalus. His punishment seems kind of fitting. Like, you tried to feed us your son's body as dinner, so we're going to make it so you can't eat or drink ever again. You know what I mean? The other one was kind of like, well, you killed people, so we're, I don't know, maybe punished by hard labor? It's an interesting one. That one with Ixion is kind of interesting to me because it's, I don't know. I think I could have figured something else, maybe. Some other one that might have been a bit more fitting. But, you know, who am I? I'm no god. And then, one of the last unfortunate souls I will talk about is the Danaids. D-A-N-A-I-D-S. Danaids. The King Danaus, D-A-N-A-U-S, Danaus, I don't know. Sometimes Greek mythology names kind of, the pronunciations kind of get with me. This dude has 50 daughters. And they all kill their husbands. So, oh, there's a save room right there. You know, I think this is a good place to stop. I will finish up this one in the next episode. So, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed my little, lecture notes. I like to keep doing this for the rest of God of War 1, and I'll see about God of War 2 later. But, again, I appreciate the fact that you guys have taken the time out to listen to my lectures, my little speeches. You guys have been very helpful and kind of keeping me going. There have been times where I just kind of want to stop doing this YouTube stuff, but I think I'll keep it up for a little bit longer. But, anyways, if you like this, feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. See ya!